Phil Goff.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. What damage, if any, has been done to staff confidence and retention by the change proposals for his ministry announced on the 23rd of February, and does he intend to announce on the 10th of May a reversal of many of those proposals?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, not as much damage as Trevor Mallard caused David Shearer's self-confidence yesterday.
Order. I'm on my feet. I accept that the primary question does make an assertion of damage, and that is risky to incorporate that kind of assertion into a primary question, but still it is a primary question. I think should be treated with some respect because of that. And I accept the answer is always going to have a few more nuances because of the wording of the primary question, but I think that was a bit over the top. The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
And as I was going on to say, the Minister's made it clear to the Chief Executive, Mr Speaker, that he expects the Ministry's leadership to ensure that any changes are carried out in a manner that retains an appropriate base of talent for New Zealand's foreign policy interests. The Chief Executive will announce final decisions in due course.
Supplementary question.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
What's the Minister's assessment of the damage done to the vital trade negotiations division in light of this letter from all of the staff of the Trade Negotiations Division that state that the change process has undermined confidence, has put real pressure on the retention of staff in their area, and has held up urgent priorities such as the negotiation of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is vital for this country?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
On behalf of the Minister, any discussions taking place between the Chief Executive and Ministry staff, including communications with the Trade Negotiations Division, are a matter for the Chief Executive. However, I can go further. I can go on and say it's no secret that there has been criticism of the change proposals, and the Minister expects that there will be revisions.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
In this paper from the Minister to the Cabinet Committee on State Sector Reform and Expenditure Control on Monday, does he admit that, quote, the government has substantially revised the change proposals, end quote, because they have failed to get, quote, the required amount of buy-in from staff, especially senior staff, and, quote, that there were too many unachievable elements? In other words, the original recommendations and the whole process were botched, and they're now having to do a total U-turn.
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, it's no secret that there has been criticism of the change proposals, and he expects that there will be revisions. The Minister has emphasised the need for the Ministry leadership to pay close attention to all feedback before any decisions are made. Those decisions will be for the Chief Executive to make.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
Question, Mr Speaker. Has the Chief Executive now told his staff that the total savings from this dramatic staff restructuring will be a mere $12 million, not the $24 million that the Minister told this House, not the $40 million that he was told in his briefing paper? And was it worth the damage done to staff morale and retention, and the $9.2 million he spent on consultants this year, and the $3.3 million he's now telling me he'll be spending on specialist consultants in the next few months? Was it worth it?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
On behalf of the Minister, I'm not exactly aware of that figure because I'm the acting Minister. I'd say to the future Mayor of Wellington, I'm not lost for words. These are. I thought I was I'm praising her. I'm praising her. These are matters that have been the cause of some concern and consternation, and as I have said, the Chief Executive has been told by the Minister that changes will need to be made.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
Mr Speaker, why in this paper to his Cabinet this week Is he recommending that New Zealand close its embassy in Stockholm by the end of next month, and then consider closing the embassies in the Netherlands and Spain, when he admits in the Cabinet paper that this has implications for, and I quote his own words, our overarching goal of securing a comprehensive agreement with the European Union containing preferential trade provisions?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
On behalf of the Minister, as has been told to that member on a number of occasions, from time to time there will be changes to the places where, for example, consulates or embassies are located. For example, in the late 1980s, when that member was a junior minister in the Longy Palmer, Moore and whoever else administration, the Labor Party shut down the San Francisco consulate. And as I explained to the member, embassies have been open from time to time. Change needs to take place, and as I've said before, one should not assume that because a consulate or an embassy has been open, it should be open forevermore.
The Honourable Phil Goff.
In admitting in this Cabinet paper, that will, I think, go to Cabinet next Monday for final approval, that he will, I'm helping out his colleagues that haven't read it already, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Does he say in this paper that he will substantially revise the remuneration proposal that would have slashed allowances to staff with families who are deployed overseas? And does he now acknowledge that this was a particularly dumb and counterproductive proposal that has already caused the outflow of a huge number of talented staff, particularly when staff base salaries in the ministry have been frozen for 4 years, unlike the Minister's own salary?
The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
On behalf of the Minister, it's no secret that there has been some criticism of the change proposals, and he expects that there will be revisions. The Minister has emphasised the need for the ministry leadership to pay close attention to all feedback before any decisions are made. Those decisions will be for the Chief Executive to make.
Question number 8, Simon O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr.